Welcome to the first video in our Java networking tutorial series. And in this video, we will be starting on the server part, and we will be using TCP without doing multi-threading for handling more clients. So, first thing, start with making a Java project. We will call this network tutorial. Finish that. We will add in a package. I'm just going to call this cone.tutorial.server and add a class called server. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, so that the server will run in a different thread, we will implement runnable, which will give us a run method. And we'll come back to that later. So first thing, we are going to add a couple variables. So we'll have a port that we'll run the server on. A variable to hold if the server will be running or not. And the selector. And the selector is what's going to be looping through the different clients connected without having to start a new thread. So, and we're going to need a server socket. And we'll call it server socket. And last thing is what's going to hold our data that we're going to be sending over the network. So it's going to be a byte buffer, and I'm just going to import these. Okay, now that we have our variables set up, we should create a constructor containing our port and the buffer size. And now do that, and we need to create the buffer here too. So it's going to be byte buffer.allocate. Oops. Allocate. And we're going to feed it buffer size. Okay, we have that done. And next is we're going to create a method to start it. So we're going to create our start method. And in that start method, it's going to be a new thread. I'm going to put this, and we're going to put it in for our start. So this is going to be what we're going to call, and it'll make the server start running, and it call our run method. And now we need to work on our run method. So for this, we're going to make sure that it is running, and we'll put it in a while loop. So while running, we are going to do int client equals selector.select. And that's going to be put in a try loop. Okay, and so what this does it's going to get us what client. I believe that's what it does. Not 100%. What client it is. So we're going to do if client is equal to 0. We are going to continue. After that, we need to have something that'll hold our keys that will represent each client. So selection key and keys equals selector dot selected keys. I think that's correct. Yeah, and we need to import set and selection key. And I'm gonna put that down a bit. Now we need to create an iterator to go over it all. Call it and be keys dot iterator. Yep. And now we need to import the Java util iterator. Now we're gonna do while it dot has next to get the next client, I think. Now selection key is a selection key, and I'm gonna do that through that, and it'll be dot next. Okay, now that we have our key, we need to check if it's a new key, and to do that we need to check if it's in accept mode. So we need to do key dot ready ops for operation, and it is going to be selection key dot op accept. And I think we need to add another thing there and do if it is equal to selection key dot accept. So that will check if it's ready to accept a new connection, and if it is, we are going to handle that. So socket equals server socket dot accept, as you would with a normal multi-threaded server, and we will print this out. Do connection from, and we'll put socket, and that will give us the connection. And now we need to create the socket channel for it. So socket channel. I'll do socket channel equals socket.get channel, and we will import that. And now that we have that, we need to configure it to be non-blocking. So socket channel.configure blocking, and we're gonna get that on false so it won't be a blocking connection. The next thing that we need to do is do socket channel dot register, and we're going to put our selector in there and register a new operation, which will be selection key dot read op read. So that line is going to be giving us the ability to check if that socket is ready to read data from. And now we need to handle if it is, which is just like we did above. We'll do an else if, put it in here, key dot ready ops and selection key dot op, but instead of accept we're going to do read, and once again selection key dot op read. Okay, and I'll check if there's data ready to read on that socket. And now if it is, we'll create a socket channel, call this one channel, and it'll be null. I'm going to be able to put another space there. Yep. And now that we got that, we'll do channel equals socket channel, and we should put that around there, and do key dot channel. That'll give us our channel that we're reading from. And now I'm going to create Boolean connection equals read data. We're going to put the channel in there and the buffer. And we don't have this method yet, so we will be creating that later. And now, after that, we need to check if there's no connection data coming in. We need to remove that connection. So to do that, it's key.cancels socket equals null, and fix that. Okay, now it is socket is equal to channel dot socket. Now it's going to get the socket that holds the channel, and we are going to close that. So socket dot close. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to comment this out first because I feel like I guess there's not a problem with that. Okay, we'll just come back to that then. And then at the end of checking these, we need to do keys.clear to make sure it won't keep all the clients waiting to read. And now that we have that, we need a method Oh, I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not. We'll find out. So, I guess I'm not. Okay. And this thing usually goes up to. I need this one. Alright. Now we need a method to kind of set up our other stuff. Pretty much set up the server part. So we'll create an open method and do server socket. A server socket channel. That will do server channel. And just cap that there. And import that. And now we will do server channel equals server socket channel. Or I guess we're not casting it, are we? Server socket channel dot open. We'll surround that with the try and catch. Okay. And we need to configure this to not be blocking 2. So, same line, configure blocking, and we're going to add false. And how long has this video been going? 17 minutes. Okay, I'll do a little bit longer. After that, we need to get the socket, so we will have our server socket, which I think we declared at the beginning, will be server channel dot get, or not dot socket. Okay. And now we need to create our address. So inet address, or socket address. And we'll call it address equals a new inet address. And we're going to put our port in there. Socket address, okay. Import that. Now we're going to do server socket dot bind address. And now that we're binded, we need to create our selector. So selector equals selector dot open. Probably should have done this open method first before handling the clients. So now we need to register, the OP except for the server channel. So server channel dot register, and this will allow it to do the registering connections. So we need selector and it is selection key, yeah. Dot op accept. Now let's print out that we are listening. Now dot print, or we're not listening to anything yet, so server created. And on port. And that will tell us the port that we're on. And I think that is all we need for that open method. Yep. And say that we have an error somewhere. Method read data. Yeah, we have not created a read data method. So we're going to start it off and then we'll fill it in the next episode. So public void read, what do I do? Data? Yeah. And the method, or the variables it takes in is a socket, channel, and a byte buffer. Oh, right. It needs to return a boolean. Okay. And that is where we will leave off for this episode. And to go over it, we created our variables here, the port, handle running, and these for our sending data and running the server. We created our constructor, it'll create the buffer and set the port, our start method, which will start up the server, and then our run method, which will be called when we start the server, and that handles going over clients, accepting new connections, setting them up to read, and then when clients are sending data, it'll switch to reading from that client. And with our read data method that we will create in the next episode, that will handle what we are creating. So, and if it's not connecting, we close that off. And this here opens the channel. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.